Alright, so I'm out here in the garage today. I'm sick, but I don't have anything else to do, and I'm tired of sitting on the couch watching TV all day. So I'm out here in the garage and working on some stuff. I know a couple people wanted to see this rear plate fixed and how to go about it, I guess. And I actually started working on the other side last weekend, and I found that there was a little bit more rust than I originally thought there was going to be. So just other than this spot, we have some inside here too. So this brace, this entire piece, this is like 18 gauge thick material. Each left and right side where this starts to like angle, it's pretty rusty on both sides. So I used the scope to go inside there and look, and found that I got some more work to do. So we're gonna get that also cut out too on the side, and then whatever exposed areas that we have to the frame rail to where we could actually get like a sandblaster inside there and just kind of shoot all the areas that we could see, or like maybe a like a disc or something. We'll just whatever we need to do to clean it inside, and then we'll put some acid in there to try to neutralize some of this rust. Yep, so that's the plan. Let's get started. I'm going to use a electric mini belt sander just to get inside here. Some of these are a little too far in, so I'm going to actually hit the metal on this plate, but it doesn't matter. We're going to replace this anyways. So I'm just going to grind it down. I do want to make sure that I don't grind down too far or too low of an angle and end up hitting this metal below, because that's still good metal. We don't want to mess that up if we can help it. All right, pretty rusty. All right, if you guys are like me or in a situation like me where I only have maybe 2 days out of the week or sometimes 1 day out of the week to actually work on this car, so something that's already pre-made, prefab, I could buy and just kind of roll with it rather than spending time to actually like cut this out, you know, whatever. I'll post a link in the description on where you can get this from, and I don't remember it being too expensive, maybe $60–70. It actually comes with two plates, this inner plate and an outer plate. The outer plate I'm not going to use. It doesn't look like OEM. The inside I'm alright with. We're just kind of patching the rust. The OEM one, I would like it to look like OEM, unlike the one that he sent, which does not look like OEM. So I'm going to use this as my template to know where I need to cut at. And let me make sure I got all the way down to good metal. Just kind of push this in place. Okay, so now that I got that traced, basically right here, it goes up all the way across and then down. I'm going to use this air saw and I'm going to cut this flush, or at least close to it. It doesn't have to be exact right away. You could take like a sander or grinder or whatever and just make sure it's flat afterwards. And that's usually what I do. I don't like to cut straight to the line just because it's very easy to get this thing kind of off center. So we'll cut it close and then we'll take the belt sander and kind of go up to that line. That's what I did on the other side, and it's very, very close. This is the fit up I'm gonna go with. I guess I got the angle a little bit wrong right here, which is fine, it's no big deal. We can fill that in with some weld. The rest of it looks pretty good. It's kind of hard right here because it wants to angle off, and this plate was most likely designed for it to go all the way down to here. So, I mean, it is what it is. I just cut out where I had the rest of it we could just fill in. It's no big deal at all. I do like a little bit of a gap on this bottom too, so I might actually end up trimming this, be able to have that gap all the way through. Gonna follow that angle. That way we have penetration completely all the way around. Alright, so I'm gonna call it quits on cutting this out. I'm gonna start working on getting some of this rust out of this frame, and then we're gonna get this brace off too. Pretty bad. So I never would have noticed that if I didn't have a scope to put down in here. So really this small little rust right here is what led me to this. So this is what was supporting the cross member. I mean, this metal around it is pretty thin, so I imagine you got some pretty good integrity out of that piece that we just took off. So yeah, we're gonna cut all this out, and we'll have to make a new piece to go inside here. And yeah, that's pretty bad. Hate rust. Everything about it sucks. So I need to be able to get this rust converter up inside the frame all the way down. So I'm making this tool right now, and I have a little electric sprayer and a bottle of rust cutter. And basically what I'm doing is making my own like nozzle, I guess, in a way. So I got this over the tip right now, and then I need to be able to convert it to a smaller line to be able to get back up in there. So let's see, I need it to go about right there. So we'll cut that off just right there. And we can slip this on. And I'm just going to use 2 hose clamps, one right here and one right here. Alright, and then we can slide this hose all the way over. Okay, so what I'm going to do is figure out how much length I actually need, and then I'll cut it off, and I'll put a bolt on in this end and then put a couple holes in it just all the way around, that way it could spray out. Do one there, and we'll do another right here. That's pretty much what we got. And then we'll put this all the way in there and just kind of twist this around, whatever we need to do. Okay, so I put my scope back in here and I look down this way, and the bracket for the sway bar is pretty rusty. We need to get that out and replace it. So before I cut any more, in my opinion, I already took too much out of this framing and it's making me a little bit nervous. So I'm gonna add a support bar all the way across there and maybe run it down and just clamp it to my brackets that I have for the rotisserie, just to support it. That way it can't sink or move or anything like that. That way I can get all this out, cut out, and not have to worry about it. I did check measurements and it doesn't seem like it moves, so we're still good. Alright, I got this out and it is extremely rusty. So I know a lot of people talk about how, I guess just with the stock application, when you're driving aggressive, that the sway bar will actually pull out. And I'm wondering if it's just because this is probably rusty on most cars, at least nowadays, right? You know, this car is 50 years old. Regardless, I'm pretty happy I checked this. We're gonna make a new piece, and my plan is to cut this so I can lay it out completely. So we're gonna cut down both sides, fold everything over. That way it could sit nice and flat on this plate, and then we'll cut it out and then fold everything up and then weld the sides up. That way it's pretty much exactly the same. I got some new weld nuts coming too. I don't know why there's this like this little divot. We're not doing that. I feel like that's just like a cavity for water to like sit behind or some type of moisture. So we're just gonna make ours flat on both sides. Okay, rust cutter is what we're gonna use. It says proprietary blend of phosphoric acid and citric acid. So we're probably gonna spray just some of the areas I can already see. Just with like the hand pump that comes with it, and then we're going to be using a electric pump, this Craftsman pump with this weird rig I got set up. I just put some holes on the tip of this so I can put it in the rail, and then just use this to blow it out, and it should come out in a spiral all the way around, and we'll be able to use it to get deep inside the rail. I'm just going to hand spray all this stuff. We're going to do inside here, both left and right sides. And then we're also going to do inside this radiator support. So just to go over again, we're going to spray inside both frame rails, the front radiator support. First, I'm just going to use this manually and just kind of go in the areas that I can already see. It says not to use over bare metal. Some of the spots I did grind down. I did a little bit of welding in here, and I fixed like a crack or hole when I was taking this plate out. It originally started as a rust hole, and I think when I pulled the plate, it just kind of pulled the rest of it. But regardless, we're going to spray inside here. It says not to use on bare metal, but we have rust in between the spots that I ground down, so we're just going to spray it anyways. Any place that has bare metal, we're just going to wipe off. Alright, let's get the sprayer out and go inside the rails. So I tested this with water. It seems to work better if you actually prime this first. There it goes. Sweet. Works pretty good. I'm gonna let this sit for, I don't know, however long it takes to dry. I'm gonna clean up the floor and then we'll put another coat down. Alright, so not bad at all. I just gotta go through and kind of scrape off some of this stuff. This is just like some of that fluid that apparently does not cure when it sits on bare metal, so we just gotta go and wipe all that off. And on the frame, it doesn't look too bad. There's a couple spots where I think I'm probably going to try to sandblast, like right here. But overall, not bad. Okay, alright, so this is what we're left with after we did our phosphoric acid treatment, and not bad. I mean, it's definitely a little bit scaly in there and still. Overall, much better though. It was absolutely terrible before.
Okay, this is what we're using. So Eastwood internal frame coating. They got this special nozzle that'll go back there, and it should spray all the way around 360 degrees. Actually looks like it sprays forward, so yeah, that kind of sucks. I didn't know that. I thought it sprayed out the sides, so this might make it a little bit more difficult. It depends. It is tapered though, so I guess it'll spray in like a cone pattern as it comes back, you know, something like this. We'll try it out. Huh, pretty cool. Put this back here and spray all around. Alright, so here's the shot of inside frame rails on this side. This side actually looks a lot better, I think, overall. So here's the dried coat of that internal frame coating, and yeah, not bad. Coated it pretty good all the way inside there. So I got this bracket I made. I got all these holes marked. This is where I'm going to weld it at, and then whenever I get this off the rotisserie, I'm going to put another hole probably in the center of this bracket, and then we'll weld it from the bottom side. And I'm probably going to put like a few tags just right here on this edge. And it shouldn't go anywhere at that point. Let's take a look at the driver's side. Yeah, so, not bad. Turned out alright. Yeah, so we're gonna probably jump over to this side. We'll get that put in, and then we'll start making this piece. This is probably gonna take a little bit more work. I might do this in 2 pieces. I'm not sure if I wanna do like one solid piece. The part that's kind of throwing me off a little bit is trying to figure out how to exactly make this piece and get it bent in just to follow that same profile as this outer piece, and also have enough length on both sides. So I think I'm going to focus on just making this, and then whatever I need to add from there, then I can do that. But for now I'm gonna get this bracket welded in, and then we'll start working on these other pieces over here. Fitment isn't the greatest right now, so we're gonna put a couple tacks down. You can see there's a spot right here is kind of bowing out, so we'll tack pretty much left side, right side towards the bottom, and then we'll start pushing everything in. I want to make sure that I have a nice gap all the way around, just like this. So I got a good gap there, but right here I do not. It's actually kind of binding up. So I'm going to take my air saw, I have an opening here, and I'm just going to cut down this and just make a gap there. That way when I go to weld, it'll penetrate, it'll go in between 2 pieces all the way to the other side. It'll be completely fused, or at least that's the idea.